Good morning, everyone. Welcome to some more Choice of Rebels. Last time we were talking to the priest, and he said we were elect, meaning that we were chosen to make some changes or something like that. We were chosen of the angels to do what we were doing with this rebellion, and so now we're deciding what we want to do about that. It's hardly the first time you've wondered how to address your band's hunger for angelic blessing. You regard the eager old priest silently while considering your options. What are the signs of a true elect? Yes, I want Linus to proclaim me chosen of the angels. What would I do? I'm not super devout, but that doesn't mean the people aren't devout. Would it lead them in a ritual which will free them from fear of angels, Thanos, and all other phantasms? No, I would only accept it if more than one priest held me as a elect. Oh, goodness. I don't know what I want to do here. I don't really know. I don't want to be declared something that I may not be. So maybe we'll just do a sacrament of compassion. I cannot accept. You raise both hands, cutting off Linos' protest. I am no elect, Heroes. You do me too great an honor. But you are right that many of my followers yearn for the authority of the angels. If you would administer sacrament to them today, I would be grateful. The ecclesiast sighs, straightens himself. It is my vocation, Captain. Speak not of gratitude, let them be mustered, and I pray that you'll think more on this matter. Dismissing him, you send for Horion. The moon-faced aristocrat steps into the tent. Good morning to you, Captain Oakville. He makes a deep and elaborate bow, the first time any noble has offered you such courtesy. Warmest thanks for your hospitality. Excuse me? My dog is messing around under my Christmas tree. I think she's doing something bad, but I can't tell. Let's see. Tell me more about yourself, Horion. The stout noble scratches his chin. Where to begin, Captain? I came of age just before our family was elevated to the Arcanet. A thoroughly unpleasant shock, I must say. We all knew that old great-uncle... Excuse me. My dog was indeed doing something bad. A thoroughly unpleasant shock, I must say. We all knew that old great-uncle Melitos was both an insufferable prig and a backstabbing intriguer. Who'd have thought that would be enough to win him a decade as Conteshardine, and thus uproot us all from a comfortable Middle West Riding existence to permanent residence in a snake pit. Orion's scowl lightened slightly. Fortunately, I was far enough from inheritance to be left to my own preoccupations. The family have done their best to ignore me for some time now. What preoccupations do you pursue? The life of the mind, my dear Captain, reading the giants of old and arguing about them with my fellow dwarfs. Orion's eyes come alive. I continually tell my fellows they must spend more time immersed in the histories and politics of our golden age, the Nirnacan Republic, and the pre-hegemonic city-states of Karagon. All the truly interesting thinking was done then, all the options attempted, all lost today, reduced to decadent power games. I'm sure they're happy to hear that. Indeed, the unshaven noble winks. I am among the best-loved men in the court of Shayard. Tell me of your cousin, the Archon. Horion exhales gustily. Ah, Phrygia, always so clever, so eloquent. It was obvious that she would be the Archon chosen from our generation. I felt sorry for her, really, having to be so very, very proper all the time. Now she has everyone hanging on her every word, angling for her favor, trying to drag her into 1,000 disputes, and oh, the amount of time she spends being flown about the place by Thurgis. I've only done it once myself, and it made me thoroughly ill, worse than the seasickness I had after that one visit to Scarth Isle. Cousin Phrygia is half accustomed to it by now, but I still see her legs shake every time she returns, and she can't eat properly for a 5 night after. You try to keep up with this string of barely unimaginable experiences. Can't the Archon travel as she wishes? Well, I'm not sure you appreciate the vastness of the realm, my dear Captain Oakfell. Delilah, too, scratches one stubbly cheek. We stand here 100 leagues from Shayard City, but it's another 300 from the court out to Linus's home in the Easter Reach. The monarchs of old had knit together quite an impressive little empire in the name of Shayard before the first Sturges burst onto the scene, you know. No, I'd not take Count Phrygia's place for all the silver of Erizah. What do you think of our rebellion? Orion's brow leaps up his forehead. Ah, now there's a dangerous question. In truth, Captain, I don't know yet. I've heard tales of your exploits, but not enough to know where you're going and where you hope to stop. Pray explain, my lord. Any rebellion is defined by one choice, Captain. What to preserve and what to tear down. That might be two choices. I don't know. The Layla 2 leans earnestly toward you. Linus and I are in our own way rebels too. Ones who have been faced with that choice in a slightly different form, and perhaps answered it differently. But we agree that the hegemony cannot persist as it is. Indeed? Absolutely, and I'm intrigued by your Helot uprising. If I may dare a question to you, Captain, should your rebellion succeed, how much would the lot of the Helotry be changed? There will be no more harrowing. We'll be the ones deciding. Oh, no. I will not be sold by chattel. We'll be the ones deciding who goes to the harrower. We'll be free as any yeoman and serve whom we will. I'll break up the great noble estates and give every Helot household 6 acres of land. I'm not yet sure. I'm the one asking questions of curious. God bless you, Mia. She must have eaten too much Christmas tree. Let's see. Well, I'd like to combine there'll be no more harrowing with we'll be free. I don't know. I think we should definitely stop at the harrowing. Orion regards you intently. In the wards, the Zao on the other side. We'll find another way to fend Zao off. I've never seen a Zao storm. Are they truly great enough to warrant sacrificing thousands? I've never seen one. Maybe they don't even exist. Yes, they are. Orion's customary joviality fades. You know, as a much younger and perhaps slightly dafter man, I accompanied the Phalangites to the Zao lands. Truly? You've never met nor heard of anyone who's willingly crossed that ward. Aye. When the border was pushed out to add a new stretch of pasture to the south riding, most of the land was to go to a friend's house, and I was curious. The Archimandrites assured us that a few days on the far side wouldn't taint us. The noble's eyes are distant with memory. All of us had to lay down our weapons before we could pass through the ward, of course. I saw a woman who'd forgot a paring knife in her boot, and until she took it out, she could no more bring her foot over that wall than she could have forced it through a sheer rock face. Meanwhile, a band of Thurges had come through the Abhuman gate far to the south and flown up to meet us with 50 long steel chisel bars. That was what we were to use, both for breaking rock for the new wall and for defense against reavers and the creatures of Zao. Golly, I changed the subject. That sounds rough. Well, I'm sure it's a fascinating tale, my lord Orion. Indeed, Captain, I had wanted to hear your vision for the Helotry, and this has become a bit of a distraction. Orion recovers some of his aplomb. You know, 2 centuries back, the near philosopher Aegul objected to the rule of aristocrats over the Helotry. The distinction between Helot and free is one of law only, not nature, she wrote, and being counter to nature is thus unjust. I'd been wondering if you were one of her followers. Never heard of her, but it sounds plainly true. As the words pass your lips, your ingrained childhood terror returns in a rush, but you defy the urge to avert your eyes from Delilah. There's nothing a noble can do, my lord, that a Helot with the same learning couldn't. Perhaps the angels give some folk a nature better suited to lead, but if so, they'd give it to noble and Helot alike. And in you, Captain, we have a chance to see that much-debated principle proven. Orion beams with what seems genuine enthusiasm. Did you know that in some of the free cities of the old Karagon, helots could become citizens if they committed feats of sufficient bravery? What? You struggle to imagine the Karagons, of all people, allowing any blurring of the line between helot and free. Mia, stop. Unthinkable, unnatural, yes, but read between the lines of the old histories, and it's clear enough. Horion is clearly enjoying your astonishment. While in other cities they declared war on the helotry once a year and encouraged young nobles to kill them by stealth, the cryptia, they called it. Some of the less kindly bits of the codex were written in those cities, and it's their vision of what's natural that's been passed down to us. He shakes his head. Well, that helps me envision the shape of your future realm, Captain Oakfell. Many thanks. One more question, if you'll humor me. How big is it? What, my future realm? Horion nods, eyes alight and curious. How much of the world do you foresee coming under your new order? However much we can carve out, small or great, the important thing is that we end with a space where the Thaumatarch's tyranny doesn't hold. I won't stop until Shayard is free from rim to coast. I'll free all the lands currently in Karagon's thrall and lead as many as will follow me. I'll not stop until we build a new hegemony over all the lands in Karagon. He's supposed to be answering my questions, not the other way around. I'll free all the lands. You expect the nobleman to chuckle at your hubris, but his spreading smile has no discernible trace of mockery. Now there's a vision worth rebelling for, Captain Callan. Reclaiming the lead that was stolen from lead or lead. Well, lead would be metal, and I don't understand if that would be a phrase, so reclaiming the lead that was stolen from us. Nalela 2 raises his hand as if to frame an imagined painting or map. Consider a history different from the one we know, Captain. Imagine that the Third remained undiscovered. Which nation today would today be strongest? The obvious premier among its neighbors. Shayard. Had you lived 16 score years ago, Captain, there'd be no question. Our conqueror kings and queens had brought all the continent's richest farmland and half the great trade ports under one crown. The revelations of the angels to the prophets of the Shayard Reach had already won over the Karagons and Eresiano, and the Codex was being written mostly in Sharon. Until Thaumatarch Hera succeeded in brewing other people's blood into Third fuel, history's great theme was the ascent of Shayard. You're saying we would have been the hegemons? At the very least, we'd still have Aveki and the Veldrin Hills and Steswick, all the lands the Karagons severed from Shayard in the conquest. Horion inclines his head, eyes gleaming. Would we have conquered Nerial and Windarge? I don't know, but the rest of the continent was certainly on its way to being united in Shayard-led Commonwealth, not a damn Karagon hegemony. And you dream of the same today? Horion shakes his head and sighs. Well, we can't recover the power that might have been. As much as I'd love to see bits of it under our rightful rule, the time's passed when Shayard might have conquered Ereza. They've got used to being unified, and they've been honed by 3 centuries on the front line with Halaster. Ooh, that's a lot of names of places that I don't know about. But a Koinon? Or Great League led by a free and strengthened Shayard rather than a Karagon tyrant, all that would take is victory over the Thaumatarch, not over all the other nations. That I can dream. Because you know how to beat the Thaumatarch. The stout Leilatu shrugs. I don't know that the hegemony only works because the provincial... I know that the hegemony only works because the provincial nobility collaborate with it. From the Aristarchs in the districts to the Archon in the capital, what if they start demanding a higher price for their collaboration? There'll be harrowed. I think not. The Thaumatarchy, well, they can only murder so many before they turn an entire province against them from top to bottom. They prefer to reserve their severity for the bottom, as I'm sure you know all too well, and to keep the top playing the hegemonic game. A trace of pride becomes visible in his smile. That's why I put so much of myself into philosophy, Captain, in particular the politics of the pre-hegemonic era. Get enough people to realize there's an alternative to the way of things, and it will change. He stares at you almost expectantly. I'm cool with what's next. Well, while your hospitality is most welcome, Captain Oakfell, the road to Xeric beckons. Horion clears his throat and smiles apologetically. And after Xeric, angels willing, I'll stay a step ahead of the Strategos and her thugs, in places where my name will not be known, save to friends. I'm keen to see how many in other provinces are receptive to my vision of a great league rather than a hegemony, and to start talking of specific paths that could bring us there. Do you see your path bringing you back to windward? My dear Captain, having met you, I can't imagine not returning to you. Horion says with seemingly genuine warmth. As long as you survive the Hegemony's inevitable attempt to destroy you. He leans toward you with avuncular concern. Were I you, I'd pull back as soon as possible to the deepest wilderness, where the phalangites will struggle to reach you. The Thurges will inevitably come after you with flame from the air, but you should be able to survive that. Yikes. You've asked Orion everything you care to. Dismissing him, you contemplate your guest's future. Nope. I'm not doing any of those things. I'll offer them a place in the band. When you suggest they join you, Orion's face creases with regret. Alas, Captain Oakfell, it pains me to decline. I've enjoyed my time in the Greenwood, but Theric and its Lord beckon. And beyond that, a world where I'm better placed to use my tongue and name against the Hegemony. As much as the rebellion needs you in the Windward, it'll need folk like me in the courts. I think I want to cheerfully accept it. I understand. Just one last try. Leilatu and his retainers stay with you for 2 or more days. You and Zavad keep a close eye on them and Colt, ensuring that nothing goes amiss. At daybreak on the 3rd morning, you and Alira escort them back to the pass where you first found them. It's hard going and the sun is soon ablaze, but your 2 former guests seem to gain strength and mettle with each step they take towards Eric. When Alira finally stops and points them up the trail, Orion bows deeply to you. One last time, all my thanks for your hospitality, Captain. The tall, plump Leilatu is bubbling over with relief. I'll be following news of the spring to see how you fare, and I'll be sure to spread word of what you've accomplished already. Angels grant you safe travel, Curious, you reply, clasping his hand and bowing to Linos. I look forward to our next meeting. And puppy still be in bed. The first crisis of the spring comes a mere 8 days later. Oh boy. Gotta get some coffee in me for that. You aren't too worried at first that your mule train bringing barley up from the rim is late. It's no longer winter and you get by well enough on venison, but by the dusk of the next day you wonder uneasily why you've heard nothing from them. No advance runner to explain the delay. By the second afternoon you send a group of trackers led by seals to find the muleteers and help with whatever's gone wrong. The tracking party returns a day later, shaken and grim-faced. Captain Oakfell. They were slaughtered, beheaded, the mules gutted and left for the wolves. Only one survivor, young Glenna. Seal swallows. She'd been nailed up by her wrist to a tree, too high for the wolves to reach. She's with Tara Abler now. The angels only know what he'll be able to do for her. You grip your staff so tightly that your knuckle bones are clearly visible under your skin. Alistairs? Phalangites? Hector Bloody Cariatu, with 10 other young nobles, called them his venuers, his hunting party, told Glenna that she was being left alive to give us warning that the hunt was afoot. The young master. No, he didn't start a panic or flush us out. You look sharply back down the ridge. You're sure you weren't followed? Seals gives a curt nod, and you try to turn your mind to the implications. The Cariatu attack has cost you a fortnight's supply of grain, 7 mules, and 19 followers. Unless Glenna pulls through, your gut tells you. We've been betrayed. Our fences never betrayed us in the winter. I think we've been betrayed by someone in the band. Breen's expression has grown darker with each word from Seals. Now she turns to you. How will we respond? Should we go after Hector and his hunters directly, using another mule train as bait? Or should we hit back at the wealth of House Cariatu? Let's go after Hector, I guess. By this point, the cautious planning of an ambush is second nature. Who you trust enough to involve, who you don't yet trust but need to involve anyway for practical purposes. Ellery Skinner's tactical skills will be indispensable, but when you first take her aside to explain, she looks troubled and exhales sharply through her nostrils. Hunting the hunters? Damn me, Captain, you've got brass. After several moments visibly on the verge of saying more, she blurts, "Are we good enough?" You understand the tension in her voice all too well. No helot was ever allowed a hunt that went beyond entangling small game with bolas, and even former yeoman archers like Seals and Alira were forbidden to bring down large game. Meanwhile, you all grew up watching the nobles practice their spectacular forms of hunting, the lethal stealth of deer stalking, the thunderous pageantry of horse and hounds. No one you've spoken to thus far believes you can match up to an average noble hunter, and the brutal ease with which Hector's 11 nobles killed 19 of your own followers has frightened as well as angered all of you. We're good enough. You try to fill your words with a certainty you don't feel. Ellery looks away for a minute, then turns searchingly back to you. How is it, then, going after your old master? No different from any other enemy, mostly terrifying, exhilarating. It's not exhilarating. No different from any other enemy. I'd not have gone for him if he hadn't come for us, you say with a shrug, but since he has, we'll show him the error of his ways, him, his friends, and any other noble who comes for us. Ellery nods and after a moment turns the conversation toward practical ideas for an ambush, but by the time she leaves you know you've only partly dispelled the uncertainty she shares with most of your other followers. Fortunately, Colt entirely lacks the typical helot reverence. Angel spit, people. Out there in the wild, Seals is worth two of any noble. A lira too. These are our woods. We know them every crag and corner. What are we afraid of? He turns to the diffident Ellery. And I've heard enough about your eye for terrain to know that we're going to destroy them. His profane assurance carries the band along. For the first time, your outlaws begin to believe that they actually can hunt Hector Carriatu. The next grain run has to get through if the band's not to run low on food again, so you send an escort of 30 outlaws to protect it as soon as it passes from the road into the wild. You also send a party of hunters led by Ellery, Seals, and Alira to range discreetly within eyeshot of the mules. Their official task is protection. Their secret one is to assess the possibilities for using the terrain to entrap the Carriatu. When they return, the hunting party are still nervous but offer a few ideas for how and where you could lure Hector's gang into an ambush along that route. Colt seizes on those ideas with ferocious enthusiasm and drags the trackers into the leader's tent with you the next morning for a 6-hour grilling. By the time you stagger out bleary-eyed to take some food, you've got both a plan and a level of confidence you'd lacked before. You think your own contributions to the ambush planning will save a few lives and perhaps cost a few more on Hector's side. Despite the band's dismal morale, you push forward with the attack. I'm worried. On the afternoon that your trap is finally sprung, you are do we want to be bait? Or wait with the ambush force? We'll be with the ambush force. Though sharp rocks jab your hips and belly and pine needles prick your shoulders, you do your best to stay motionless on the cliff top. Far below you, small as mice, a dozen outlaws herd a chain of mules up the dusty windward track. Even from here, their fear is visible in their constant scanning of the slopes and crags. It was in terrain not unlike this that Hector Carriatu slaughtered your other supply train. You wonder how they would look if they knew the attack would come yesterday. Yesterday, Alira spotted a pair of noble veneers on the far side of the valley from you, spying out the muleteers. They soon vanish, and unless they've smelt the trap, you expect them back soon. A hand taps your boot, and you slither back into the hilltop pine copse to see young Ern. The baby-faced tracker's eyes dance with nervous excitement. It's time, Captain, he breathes. They've returned with the other 9, all a horse. Moving slow for the moment, but I reckon it won't be long till they make their charge. His eagerness almost hides how haggard Ern's face has grown over the days of constant thirst, running, and half-sleep. The mule train moves slowly, but it's been hard work to shadow it, especially while keeping yourselves far back and well hidden enough not to alert the veneers. You hope Ellery and her smaller party are still shadowing you, far enough back to close the trap. And you hope you can choose the right person to lead. You chose the right person to lead the mule trains. Colt would have been a good choice because he hates the nobles so much and he'll kill them. Radmar in fighting shape, I think. He's also recently married, so he might have something to fight for. I don't know. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a dragon by two, and y'all then go, eeny, miny, mo. We'll do Colt. Alright folks, and with that we are going to end this video in suspense of what is going to happen in this ambush. We'll see you in the next video. I hope that you will like, you will comment, and you will subscribe, and you will share this video with your friends, and that you will scream from the mountaintops how wonderful this channel is. Nah, this last two aren't a big deal. But please do like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in the next one. I love you very much.